These ladies aren't learning to dance. This class is all about putting fun into exercise and exercise into the daily routine. This was just one of many classes offered at the annual Women's Health Conference sponsored by the West Tennessee Healthcare.
This is our 16th Women's Health Conference that we do every year for the women of West Tennessee. It's a venue we can bring together a lot of health information, a lot of fun information, mainly because women make 85% of the health decisions for their family, so they can come have a good time but still take something home with them that can benefit them and their families.
Judy and her committee chose a 50s theme for this year's conference, injecting a little bit of fun and frivolity into some very important and serious issues.
We're doing a 50s this year. People tend to like themes, so we have named our mini sessions after songs. Our dinner is going to be the drive-in, that will have a science fiction movie playing. We've got kind of an Elvis impersonator doing entertainment, and then we've got a keynote, Kathleen Passanisi from St. Louis, Missouri. Our sessions are from dancing of the 50s to encourage exercise, up to diabetes and heart disease. We're doing a cooking for 1 or 2. We're doing menopausal problems, memories, antiquing, things like that. So we try to hit all the different aspects that women might be interested in.
It's some pork and apples, and it's a sweet and sour pork. It's good especially for people with diabetes because you leave the peel on the apples, so that's good because it helps to take the brunt off the insulin or the sugar surge that insulin-dependent diabetics would have.
Shopping, cooking, exercise, diet, these and other topics all underscore a major health issue for American women.
Heart disease is still the #1 problem that women have, and women will, if you ask them, they'll tend to say breast cancer and other things, and those are important issues, but heart disease is still the #1 killer of women in this country.
Over 8 million women are affected by heart disease, and it claims 500,000 lives each year. Since 1984, more women have died of heart disease than men. Recent studies have shown that African American women and Hispanic women have a particularly high risk. African American women are 29% more likely to die of the disease, and nearly 1/3 of deaths among Hispanic women can be attributed to heart disease.
I think heart disease is still our #1 problem just because of our eating habits, because of our lack of exercise, and it becomes a genetic, hereditary thing that kind of travels down from generation to generation.
The National Women's Health Resource Center encourages women to make 10 lifestyle changes for better health. Take a walk or some other moderate-intensity physical activity for 30 minutes each day. Drink plenty of water. For most women, the body needs 2.7 liters or about 11 cups of fluid each day. Get to know your doctor by having regular checkups, at least annually. Use a pedometer to keep track of your daily step count. The more, the better. Use a broad-spectrum sunscreen whenever you're outdoors. Brighten up your plate with plenty of brightly colored vegetables and fruits. Reduce your intake of sugar and salt to lower blood pressure and body fat. Reduce alcohol intake. Say no to that second cup of wine. Stretch. Stretching your back, neck, and chest muscles will increase blood flow and rejuvenate you during the workday. And add a multivitamin. Research shows that most women don't get all the vitamins needed through diet alone.
We're going to talk about the role of humor in women's health. And this event, of course, is sponsored by West Tennessee Healthcare, the Women and Children's Center. And so we're going to talk about the application of humor to the stresses of life as a woman. And it might be a new mother, and it might be somebody who's dealing with menopause. It might be somebody who is dealing with aging parents. And what we have to do is we have to cope with the stress of that. In addition to, we have jobs, we take care, we try to take care of ourselves. And women rely on other women. We need other women in our lives because it's women who understand what you're up against. And don't get me wrong, we love the men in our lives, but the women in our lives understand what we're up against. And when you've got a best friend that you can laugh with, you pretty much can cover all your bases. You can get through anything.
Kathleen Passanisi, the evening's keynote speaker, believes that it's particularly important for women to find the humor in life.
Men tend to focus on one thing at a time. If a man is watching a ball game, he's totally focused on that ball game. If a woman is watching the ball game with him, she's making sure everybody's got snacks. at the same time, or she knows that the oven's about to ring, or my mother's not feeling real well today, and Tuesday is Aunt Lizzie's birthday, and I really should be thinking about a gift for that, and by the way, the dog's not looking real healthy. You know, women will look, we are the ultimate multitaskers. We're wired that way, and we need to be. And so it works for us, but it works against us. And so because we're constantly thinking about everything and everybody, we carry an awful lot of stress. And a man tends to do one thing at a time and stay focused on that, and then he goes on to the next thing and goes on to the next thing. Women don't always have that luxury. Humor is important because there's an awful lot in life that we cannot change. And what I have to learn to do, I can't change the weather, I can't change the economy, I don't even have control over my hair, obviously. What am I going to do? I can change my perspective. If I can see things differently, then I think differently. If I think differently, I feel differently. And if I feel differently, I behave differently. And when I behave differently, I get a different outcome. And that's what growth and change are about. If you can find somebody whose life's challenges mirror your own, so that if you've got a teething 2-year-old, or if you've got a dwindling bank account, or your mother-in-law showed up 2 Christmases ago and forgot to go home, if you've got that in common with somebody else, then we can laugh about it. And when I laugh about it, I put it in perspective. But when I laugh, I get rid of all that toxic chemical buildup that's in my system, all of the side effects of stress, which are toxic chemicals in the system. I can flush those out of my system. I can get rid of that. And it doesn't mean that my life is instantly a bed of roses, but it means I got my head back on straight, I can take a deep breath, I can put it back in perspective, and I can move on, and I can get through the day. And that's what women need each other for. And that's why it's so important with a healthcare system like West Tennessee to acknowledge that women and children, that kind of healthcare is different than just general health care. It needs to be specialized, and that's why a community like Jackson is so lucky to have it.
West Tennessee Healthcare presents the Women's Health Conference in Jackson each fall.